Well, good afternoon, folks. It's already been, 17 minutes after the close. And I'm bringing you the DGS September 9th YouTube update of Peak Picks. You can write denallyguide at hotmail.com for your free copy of this particular issue. Right below here, we see the speedometer. What's it telling us? Well, it tells us that Cartel Buster, which is what it represents, is now at 33. Last reading was 31. It appears to have stalled and possibly consolidated. I'm watching the Dow, and we're trying to make a little sense out of this. Let's go to our next. We'll go to our next image because we got a lot of them. Let's look at what we see the Dow to be. Well, the Dow's been having a tough time. It's up 166 points this week, which would be what? Yesterday and today? It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. If you'll notice, the blue dots right here, you'll see that they are up, well, they're up in the 1750 region. That's this stop and reverse. Now let's look at the 10-week moving average, which is down here. The 10-week moving average is at 17,143. The 30-week moving average is somewhat higher. It's at 17,770. And the big rally we had today, well, it turned into a 200-point loss. So what can I say here? I can say that it's going to rally back up here, but I seriously doubt, given all the volume that we've seen, that it's going to go above that. Now let's look at the volume here. One of the telling things we see about the volume is that over here on the left hand side the volume is quite high as it goes up. As we move down farther towards the current day, the volume goes down as it goes up. Doesn't that seem paradoxical? What's happening is the Exchange Stabilization Fund through J.P. Morgan, its agent, whereas the ESF is an agent of the Treasury, or a subdivision of the Treasury, is pumping up the stock options. Then the stock options move towards the stock. Well, that's just one of those things, isn't it? It's actually a real shame. Let's take a look at another chart here. Let's see who they'll be next. Well, I think the GDX. Now, we just had the speedometer for the GDX. And the speedometer for the GDX says it's stalled and it's not going anywhere. And I think I got to really go with that right here. We've had a lot of volume, and it looks like basing behavior here as the bottom volume shows up. And we've seen volume as we work back to, let's see, 2013, the volume's rising, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I think we're going to find the GDX is in a base. What you have to ask yourself is, which one are you willing to buy? Which one are you willing to buy, and whose story seems the most logical? Seems to me like GDX's volume and its price is in the same area. It correlates. Let's take a look and see what else is out there. Okay. Now, we got that speedometer. So let's go and look. These are some of our picks, and I'll just give you a brief overview of them. Here we have SSRI, Standard Silver. Here we have Exeter Corporation. Here we have account mining operations. Then we have Treasury Metals. I'm sorry about the focus. Then we have the junior direction, which is the junior GDX. Then we have SWC, I'm going to say, who is that? Anyway. Then we have EMX. Then we have Bird Construction. Then we have Osisco, this third Osisco. The first two have been merged, which kind of accounts for why I like them. And then we have MVG, Mag Silver. Now let's move to another one. Let's move to Mr. Jimbo. What's Mr. Jimbo trying to tell us? Well, Mr. Jimbo is that double purple line that goes up and down. It recurves, so I call it recursive. And when it gets really high, I say no buy. When it gets really low, I say no sell. And then we look at, there's a gold line in the back. That gold line is GDX. So what we look for is a place where Mr. Jimbo went down and then GDX followed. Mr. Jimbo is a pretty hot guy, and the thing that you're going to have to look out for him is that his lead time over the GDX varies from half a week to 2 weeks. So that's the slippery part here. All right, let's move off of Mr. Jimbo and see where else we can go. Well, here's the bullish percentage of gold miners. And you'll notice, wow, we got a plus 3.3 today. That means that one stock went into a bullish point and figure formation. And you'll notice it's been drifting down. Meanwhile, sometime late in August, it hit 0. Popped up again, came back down again. Of course, when you're on a 0 base, it's not hard to go up. However, I think that's significant that we got a pop of plus 3 today. Well. Let's look at what happens. Here we use the Crimex GOLD. Yeah, I say Crimex, Krimex. Why? Because these guys trade paper contract supposed to represent the price of gold. But quite frankly, they can pump it anywhere they want. 2 years ago, they dumped the equivalent of Newmont's production for 2 years on the market in 1 day, in less than 1 hour. They cleaned all the bids out from the ceiling to the floorboard. It was like having a dust explosion that cleaned out all your cobwebs. Now let's look at a slightly different representation of this. Let me go back. What's this mean? What is it compared against? It is compared against junk bonds, high-yield bonds. So this is gold on a paper contract versus paper contracts of high yield. Let's see what real gold looks like. Real gold did something far different. You remember me talking about the Canadian Gold Reserve Fund. Canadian Royal Mint spun off their gold inventory, turned it into exchange tradable receipts. Having done that, they trade on the Toronto. Now, whether the Canadian dollar is weak or not doesn't really matter. If you will look at the sharp spikes where the value compared to paper of real gold spiked up. Notice the sharp spike again. This pink thing you see is an Ishikamu cloud, and it represents the trailing value and the size and volume that happens here. It is set 26 weeks behind. It is a nice place to find support and resistance. And it looks like we broke through resistance here. Now we've broken above support. I think if you combine that with the bullish percentage, and you combine that with what Mr. Jimbo is doing, and you combine it with the fact that Cartel Buster is stalling around, I think you've got a potent case here for the end of third quarter, that would be the end of September, of possibility of some sort of strong action, because it all looks like base to me. Now, did I cover it all? No, I don't think I did. I covered bullish percentage. I covered Crimex versus paper. I covered real gold versus paper. I covered Mr. Jimbo. I covered GDX, the stocks we handle, and the Dow. One thing left. You saw me put, let's see if I can get this up here. You saw me put the Cartel Buster speedometer on. This is Cartel Buster in the current moment. This is GDX. Again, no buy, no sell zones apply. No sell would be green, no buy would be red. This is a slightly different chart. What happens here is that it takes, let's see, I think it takes a box value of at least 3 or 4 to move it. And so if it doesn't move it, it stays right where it is. However, if we get a box that exceeds that, we go there. Quite like a point and figure chart, it all but neutralizes the time factor. Does it look bullish to me? It doesn't look bearish. Okay, lots of ways to interpret this, but again, you got to go. You figure out what it is. At this point, I'd say I certainly wouldn't be short any precious metal stocks. I think maybe we got to go back here and say, if you want to see what's going on, write for your free copy of Peak Picks, and I'll teach you what I consider a great risk reduction method. It's a free copy. Write me at denallyguide@hotmail.com. I'll send you out a free copy. I'm a guy. I'm not a quant. I'm not an algorithm. I'm a guy. So you'll get an email from me, and it'll be a fresh copy of Peak Picks. Maybe you see what you can do. If you'd like to subscribe, go to my blog, which is denallyguide.blogspot.com. Summit. Denally Guide Summit.blogspot.com. And there's a subscription form. Here's the deal. Your satisfaction's guaranteed. You'll get 4 free copies to begin with. If you don't like my work after you've actually paid for a month, give me an email. I'll send your money back, no questions asked. I only want good, sound, satisfied customers. Well, I hope I covered that not too quickly, but if you'd actually like what amounts to a written copy of this, drop in, give me an email, tell me you want a free copy. Meanwhile, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.